The live-action retelling of a certain iconic fairy tale, once positioned as a flagship project for a major studio, has instead evolved into one of the most chaotic PR storms in recent memory. What was supposed to be a defining moment for its lead actress spiraled into controversy, awkward headlines, and public backlash, all magnified by swirling rumors of tension with another high-profile entertainer. At the heart of the storm is the young starlet chosen to bring the classic heroine to life, a role that traditionally defines careers. But instead of celebration, the announcement triggered confusion and criticism. Interviews meant to promote the reimagined film only seemed to further alienate longtime fans. The actress openly criticized elements of the original story, calling it outdated and dismissive of modern values. In her own words, this new interpretation would feature an independent protagonist who didn't need rescuing by anyone. And as bold as that vision was, it came wrapped in a tone that struck many as unnecessarily dismissive of the source material. The pushback was immediate, and it didn't help that her public persona came off as overly confident, with sound bites implying her mere presence would draw audiences no matter the story. It was a risky bet, and as the film's premiere approached, the internet was watching closely. When the actress began sharing solo videos from empty screening rooms, meant perhaps to show dedication or excitement, it instead painted a haunting picture, a star surrounded not by adoring fans, but empty chairs. Meanwhile, another film, one based on a pixelated sandbox game once dismissed by critics, was quietly dominating the box office. What began as a low-stakes release quickly blossomed into a cultural juggernaut, praised for its humor, simplicity, and heart. The comparison was damning. While the fairy tale remake was weighed down by discourse, the gaming adaptation offered pure fun, and audiences showed up in droves. Amid this backdrop, whispers of backstage drama began to surface. According to industry chatter, a confrontation occurred between the young actress and a beloved comedic actor who starred in the rival film. He reportedly questioned her approach to critics and fans, challenging the idea that all pushback was simply online hate. Depending on which version you believe, the exchange either sparked an emotional breakdown, a tense walk-off, or a sobering moment of realization. Some even claimed studio executives had to step in, concerned not just for the actress's well-being, but the increasingly grim outlook of the entire project. Shortly thereafter, the promotional campaign went quiet. The once vibrant social media feeds fell silent, and from the outside, it looked like a studio in damage control mode. Insiders suggested the film itself was undergoing emergency changes. Last-minute edits, altered plotlines, and tone recalibrations in hopes of salvaging what was clearly slipping out of control. Reports from test screenings described a movie that felt disjointed and emotionally flat, as if two separate visions had been awkwardly stitched together. Even the studio's CEO, known for his composed leadership, was reportedly alarmed. He began asking the kind of pointed questions no one wants to hear right before a major release. How had a project with such massive potential veered so far off course? In stark contrast, the other movie, carefree, colorful, and full of energy, was playing to packed theaters and thunderous applause. It wasn't reinventing the wheel, it was embracing fun. And that apparently is exactly what audiences were craving. The difference between the two releases was more than artistic. It was philosophical. One tried to preach, the other just wanted to entertain. The failed reception of the fairy tale reboot revealed deeper cracks within the studio's approach. What was once seen as an empowering reimagining now came off as overly calculated and disconnected. Even the studio's most loyal defenders started asking hard questions. Had they lost touch with their audience? As the alleged clash between the lead actress and the comedic actor spread, it took on symbolic weight. Whether or not it happened exactly as described, it became a cultural moment. One star, seen as representing a new wave of media-savvy performers steeped in messaging, came face-to-face with a veteran known for connecting with audiences through warmth and honesty. That perceived contrast struck a chord. Some saw the veteran's rumored challenge as necessary, a voice of reason in an industry bubble. Others criticized it as harsh, saying young stars today face impossible standards and constant scrutiny. But regardless of where people stood, the actress's response, curated selfies, generic motivational quotes, and a notable drop in confidence, was telling. The mask of invincibility had slipped. Online reactions split along familiar lines. Some expressed sympathy and pointed to the toxic nature of celebrity culture. Others turned the controversy into viral memes, seizing on perceived arrogance as fuel for mockery. The transformation from promising newcomer to public punching bag happened with brutal speed. Inside the studio, alarm bells rang louder. Marketing budgets were pulled, reshoots were ordered. and crisis meetings reportedly took over the calendar. The film had crossed from risky to meltdown, with even the financial projections reflecting a harsh reality. After years of depending on legacy content to carry them through, the studio faced its biggest wake-up call yet. This wasn't just another film underperforming, it was the collapse of a formula. Remakes wrapped in modern narratives, sold under the illusion of progress. Audiences, it seemed, weren't buying it anymore. And the rival film's success only added salt to the wound, proof that stories rooted in fun and creativity still have the power to connect. No heavy messaging required. Was the confrontation real? Was it exaggerated for clicks? It hardly matters. In an age where perception often overshadows fact, the idea of a truth-teller challenging a rising star became a parable of sorts, a reflection of deeper frustrations in the entertainment world. This saga has become bigger than a single movie. It's about the direction of an entire industry. Do audiences want stories or statements, escapism or essays? The message seems clear. People want to laugh. They want to feel. They want stories that remember what it means to dream. For the studio at the center of this drama, the challenge ahead is monumental. If they continue down this path, prioritizing image over heart, they risk more than financial loss. They risk cultural irrelevance. The magic that once defined them wasn't built on lectures or checklists. It was built on wonder, joy, and characters who felt real. If anything can be learned from this debacle, it's this. Legacy doesn't guarantee loyalty. In fact, it demands more of it. And if future remakes are to succeed, they'll need to rediscover what made the originals beloved in the first place, not rewire them beyond recognition. Because in the end, it's not bold statements that build cinematic history. It's simple, heartfelt storytelling. And unless that lesson is learned quickly, this once-celebrated fairy tale reboot may go down not as a triumph, but as the turning point when audiences finally said, enough.